Imagine a highly advanced missile defense system, able to engage multiple threats simultaneously, intercepting and destroying them in midair before they can reach their intended targets. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, it's real, and it's one of Israel's biggest assets against Hamas's relentless attacks. If you've turned on the news recently, you've probably heard mention of Israel's so-called Iron Dome. In the complex environment of modern warfare, where the threat of artillery and missiles perpetually looms over nations, the Iron Dome system has received huge amounts of attention and controversy since its inception in 2011. Known globally for its technological and strategic efficacy, the anti-missile system has helped reshape the paradigms of military defense, providing a three-dimensional shield against short-range rockets and artillery shells. Developed jointly by Rafael Advanced Defense Systems and Israel Aerospace Industries, the Iron Dome utilizes a combination of sophisticated radar technology, advanced data processing, and precise missile interception mechanisms, which work together to stop missiles headed into Israel. Yet this technology is also far from infallible, and concerns over its continued effectiveness, ethical implications, and ability to deal with massive and sophisticated attacks are all too real. Today, let's take a look at how the Iron Dome actually works, its performance, and just how well it might fare in future conflicts. To begin with, it's helpful to understand a bit of the Iron Dome's history and context. Development of the Iron Dome began as early as 2005. Brigadier General Danny Gold, then head of Mafat, Israel's Directorate of Military Research, decided to start the program for a next-generation missile interceptor. By 2007, Israel commissioned the development of Iron Dome, choosing Israeli contractor Rafael over the American giant Lockheed Martin. Another Israeli company, Emprest Systems, was put in charge of programming the core of Iron Dome's battle management system. Iron Dome went from the drawing board to combat readiness within less than 4 years, a remarkably short period of time for a weapons system designed from scratch, and far less than had been spent on any other missile interceptor system around the world. By mid-2009, the system successfully intercepted a number of rockets, mimicking Qassam and short-range Katyusha rockets in a Defense Ministry test. Testing would continue for another 2 years before the Iron Dome was declared operational by the IDF, and Defense Minister Ehud Barak authorized deployment of the system in March 2011. In November 2012, during Operation Pillar of Defense, the Iron Dome had its first major trial by fire, mitigating the impacts of rockets launched from Gaza into Israel. The system displayed an impressive interception rate of approximately 85%, according to Israeli Defense Forces, providing tangible protective value and giving the Iron Dome its first instance of international visibility. This operation spotlighted the Iron Dome's ability to discern between threats headed towards populated areas and those bound for open fields, a crucial capability for minimizing resource usage and avoiding unnecessary interceptions. 2014 witnessed another significant chapter in the Iron Dome's operational history, during the so-called Operation Protective Edge. This 50-day conflict saw the system intercepting rockets at an unprecedented rate, as 4,594 rockets and mortars were fired at Israeli targets. Iron Dome systems intercepted 735 projectiles that it determined were threatening, achieving an intercept success rate of 90%. Only 70 rockets fired at Israel from Gaza failed to be intercepted, leading many to believe that the Iron Dome had effectively neutralized the threat of rockets. Further evolution was noted by military analysts in May 2021. During the Israel-Gaza crisis of that month, the Iron Dome was subjected to an intense barrage of rockets, encountering a scale and complexity of fire not previously seen. In the first 24 hours of conflict, 470 rockets were fired from Gaza, a much higher rate than had been attained in any previous conflicts. Of the rockets, 17% were also long-range attacks on Tel Aviv. Demonstrating an elevated interception rate of nearly 90%, the system safeguarded urban locales and strategically important sites, all while underlining Israelis' technical prowess in missile defense. There had long been concern among Israeli officials that the system would struggle to deal with a truly massive barrage of rockets, a fear which has played out vividly in recent weeks. However, even so, the Iron Dome continues to represent the world's most successful and technologically advanced missile interceptor, far outperforming other similar systems. One reason for this is the Iron Dome's dispersal. Typical air defense missile batteries consist of a radar unit, missile control unit, and several launchers, which are generally all located at the same site. On the other hand, the Iron Dome is built to deploy in a scattered pattern. Each launcher, containing 20 interceptors, is independently deployed and operated remotely via a secure wireless connection. Reportedly, each Iron Dome battery is capable of protecting an urban area of approximately 58 square miles. So how exactly does the Iron Dome function? To answer this question, let's dive into the three main components of the system: the detection and tracking radar, the battle management and control (BMC) system, and the missile firing unit. First is the Iron Dome's detection and tracking radar, developed by ELTA, a subsidiary of Israel Aerospace Industries, which serves as a vigilant sentinel in the defense system. Its primary function is to continuously survey the skies, hunting for potential airborne threats like rockets, artillery, mortars, and other objects that might pose a threat to populated areas. Once a threat is detected, the radar system begins to meticulously track its trajectory, speed, and altitude. When an enemy rocket is launched, the radar system immediately detects its presence by sending out radio waves that bounce back upon hitting an object. This reflection allows the radar to determine not only the object's location, but also calculates its speed and direction by analyzing the change in the return signal's frequency, a phenomenon known as the Doppler effect. This precise tracking is paramount because, in the context of airborne threats, even minor miscalculations can result in failure to intercept, potentially leading to devastating consequences. The detection and tracking radar then promptly relays this information. The data is transmitted in real time, ensuring the immediate flow of critical information to enable swift decision-making. The radar can manage multiple threats simultaneously, tracking numerous incoming objects and providing data on each to ensure a comprehensive defensive response. This capability is vital in scenarios where adversaries launch multiple projectiles in quick succession, intending to overwhelm defense systems. Notably, the radar system incorporates electronic countermeasures (ECCM), which are designed to ensure it operates effectively even under electronic attacks, such as jamming. This robustness against electronic warfare attempts enhances its reliability, ensuring it can function even in contested electronic environments. Precision, speed, and reliability are pivotal attributes of the Iron Dome's radar system, which are vitally crucial given the short flight times of rockets fired from close ranges. This radar has to function with impeccable accuracy and speed to allow the Iron Dome system enough time to assess the threat and, if necessary, launch an interceptor missile to neutralize it before it reaches its target. The second critical element of the Iron Dome is its battle management and control (BMC) system. This is the strategic and computational brain behind the Iron Dome. In the split-second intricacies of modern warfare, where projectiles travel at immense speeds, the BMC has the monumental task of processing the enormous amount of data from the detection and tracking radar, making vital decisions and orchestrating an effective defensive response in a matter of moments. Upon receiving the critical data from the radar system, the BMC springs into a whirlwind of activity. It takes the information about the detected object, its speed, trajectory, and anticipated point of impact, and instantaneously runs it through a sophisticated algorithm. The object here is to ascertain whether the incoming projectile poses a legitimate threat to civilian areas or critical infrastructure. It's a mathematical prophecy of where the missile or rocket will land, based on its current path and other kinetic variables. If a projectile is deemed to be heading towards an uninhabited area where it will cause no harm, the BMC might choose to let it proceed unhindered, conserving resources. However, if a threat is headed toward a populated or strategic area, the BMC switches from analysis to action, deciding in a split second to intercept the incoming projectile. This capability to discriminate between threats, thereby selectively engaging only those that pose a genuine risk, is pivotal in minimizing costs and avoiding unnecessary interceptor launches. Subsequently, the BMC system communicates with the missile firing unit, providing it with data required to launch an interceptor missile with a high probability of successfully neutralizing the threat. The path of the interceptor is dynamically adjusted by the BMC, utilizing continuous data feeds about its position and the position of the incoming projectile to facilitate a successful interception. This dynamic mid-course guidance and the fine-tuning of the trajectory are crucial in ensuring that the interceptor and threat collide, even when the threat is maneuvering. Moreover, the BMC operates in unison with multiple launchers and can manage numerous threats simultaneously, orchestrating a coordinated response to multiple incoming projectiles. This is essential in scenarios of massive rocket salvos, where multiple threats in the sky need to be systematically and concurrently neutralized to protect assets on the ground. All these operations, threat analysis, decision-making, and interceptor guidance occur within an incredibly compact timeframe, exemplifying a mesmerizing fusion of advanced technology, mathematics, and strategic defense thinking. The BMC thus stands as the nerve center of the Iron Dome, effectively steering its operations. The final piece of the Iron Dome is its missile firing unit. This is essentially the muscle behind the operation, springing into action once a threat has been identified and a decision has been made to intercept. Imagine if you could launch a super-fast, highly accurate baseball to intercept and neutralize a dangerous object flying through the air. That's akin to what the missile firing unit does, but with cutting-edge technology and precise calculations. This component of the Iron Dome houses the interceptor missiles, which are designed to collide with incoming threats and neutralize them before they can reach their intended target. The actual missile used by the Iron Dome, called the Tamir Interceptor, is built to be highly maneuverable and incredibly fast, ensuring that it can meet threats head-on, even when they are moving at high speeds. Once the battle management and control system decides that a threat must be intercepted, the missile firing unit gets to work. The BMC communicates the precise data regarding the incoming projectile's path, speed, and anticipated location of impact to the missile firing unit. Armed with this information, the unit launches an interceptor missile into the sky, aimed to meet the incoming threat at a calculated collision point. The act of launching is merely the beginning of the journey for the interceptor. After being propelled into the sky, it needs to find and collide with the threat. This is where guidance from the BMC continues to play a vital role. The interceptor is consistently guided by the BMC, which adjusts its path in real time to ensure it remains on a collision course with the incoming projectile. The Tamir Interceptor is designed to destroy the incoming threat by detonating its warhead nearby, neutralizing the threat in the sky, and ensuring debris falls in areas where it's less likely to cause harm. This ability to intercept projectiles mid-air is a complex ballet of precision, speed, and technology, meant to destroy projectiles efficiently while minimizing the risk to civilian life and infrastructure on the ground. When dealing with salvos of multiple projectiles, the missile firing unit is capable of launching numerous interceptors in quick succession, maintaining a formidable defense against a barrage of incoming threats. The unit works in concert with the other components of the Iron Dome, ensuring that the identified threats are engaged and neutralized effectively. In simple terms, the missile firing unit is the component of the Iron Dome that takes immediate, tangible action against identified airborne threats, launching, guiding, and detonating interceptor missiles to protect the skies and shield the population and infrastructure below from harm. This vital piece of the defense puzzle ensures that theory and strategy are transformed into definitive, protective action. These three components work together seamlessly, creating a protective dome in the sky. The radar spots the threat, the BMC decides on the action, and the missile firing unit responds, all in a matter of minutes. It's a finely tuned symphony of technology, where each part plays a crucial role and must perform flawlessly to ensure the safety of the population below. When you integrate these three components, the vigilant radar, the intelligent BMC, and the defensive missile firing unit, you get a system that is far more than the sum of its parts. Yet even with these incredibly advanced interception capabilities, one of the Iron Dome's main weaknesses is sheer volume. The system can potentially be overcome by huge volleys of missiles that exceed its capability to intercept them. Also, the cost of each interception is high, while attacking rockets can be relatively inexpensive. These are among the reasons encouraging the development of the Iron Beam energy weapon to complement the Iron Dome, which is cheap to fire, has unlimited ammunition, and is effective at short range. Iron Dome is also significantly less effective against very short-distance saturation strikes. Hamas is well aware of these vulnerabilities. In addition to having enormous numbers of rockets and using saturation strikes, the group consistently fires rockets at low trajectories to make them harder to intercept. According to Israeli journalist Ronan Bergman, In 2012, during Operation Pillar of Defense, Israel agreed to an early ceasefire. For a reason that has remained a closely guarded secret, the Iron Dome anti-missile defense system had run out of ammunition. Bergman says that as a result of the experience, Israel had tried to prepare larger stocks of interceptors for future rounds of fighting. The most recent conflict between Israel and Hamas has highlighted that a volume of projectiles to intercept is still a weakness, as the Iron Dome has been hard-pressed to stop every incoming missile. Over the first few years of the Iron Dome's deployment, the maximum number of rockets fired at Israel per day, even during periods of open conflict, ranged from roughly 200 to 300. During the May 2021 fighting, that increased substantially, with 470 rockets fired over the first 24 hours. But in 2023, somewhere between 2,200 and upwards of 3,500 rockets were launched in just the first 20 minutes. This reality made clear that despite being far superior to any other missile defense system, the Iron Dome is not impenetrable. As Patrick Sullivan and John Amble of the West Point Modern War Institute noted in a recent analysis, that quantity was simply too much for Iron Dome to manage. Hamas rocket fire is notoriously imprecise. An Iron Dome is designed not to expend ammunition on incoming rounds whose trajectories do not indicate an impact in a populated area. That is an important advantage weighing in Iron Dome's favor. If Hamas fires 10 rockets and misses with 9, Iron Dome can most likely intercept the one threatening round. If Hamas fires 100 and misses with 90, that poses more of a challenge. But given the system's demonstrated success rate, most and likely all of the threat can be thwarted. But extrapolate this dynamic by firing 1,000, 2,000 or even more rockets, and eventually the advantage shifts in favor of the attacker. This is a stark reminder that no defense, however sophisticated, is truly impenetrable. Yet even with this weakness, there is also no doubt that the Iron Dome remains head and shoulders above any other country's missile defense systems. The system's effectiveness, however, does not lie solely in its technological sophistication, but in its capacity to integrate seamlessly into Israel's wider security and defense strategy, aligning technological capabilities with strategic objectives. So as geopolitical dynamics evolve and new challenges emerge, the Iron Dome will almost certainly continue to adapt. But even with its weaknesses, the Iron Dome represents a remarkable achievement of military technology. The interplay of its principal components, the detection and tracking radar, the battle management and control system, and the missile firing unit, orchestrates a rapid, usually precise response to incoming missiles. Each component plays a pivotal role, from initial detection and threat assessment to the actual interception. The evolution and deployment of the Iron Dome underscore Israel's broader strategic imperative to safeguard the lives of its citizens. For more than a decade, it has also given Israel the psychological and logistical upper hand in its clashes with Hamas. While the most recent conflict has put this into question for some, there is little doubt that the Iron Dome has altered the paradigm of modern military defense strategies, contributing to the doctrine of using technological might to proactively defend against short-range missiles. But what do you think? In the rapidly evolving world of geopolitics, how much of a role will the Iron Dome and similar systems play in the years to come? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more military content and analysis.